Hello, family. My name is Chris. I am your home gamer dad, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't do videos like this, like these type of after the fact follow-up videos. Normally, whenever I do why I backed video, or in the Power Rangers case, of course, why I backed, I just kind of talk about the campaign, where it is at the moment when I'm doing that recording, which is usually around halfway through the campaign, where it's been, where it's going, expectations, things along that ways. And then that's it. You know, that's out. Everyone can see it. We see how it goes. We see how it ends. Once the campaign is over, I don't revisit that subject until I have the product itself, if it's a particular game, or in this case, if I have everything, you know, from the set. But it's just, this is a special case. This is absolutely a special case around it, because Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid has been a very important game for myself specifically, in this case, for quite a number of years, ever since I got it way back in 2018, 2019, whatever it is, playing it with my friends, watching it grow, watching everything, you know, all the next sets come out, anticipating them, getting excited for them, who's in it, what do they do, things like that. And then, of course, you know, all of you out there probably sharing very similar thoughts and ideas behind it as well. And then just, you know, the channel, how big it is on the channel, and the fact that it's now done. It's over. Like, production value for this game has completely stopped from Renegade. So whatever we have is what we have. And I think this is an appropriate thing to do, to actually sit down, have a chat, and talk about the recent campaign, the good, the bad, everything in between, my thoughts in general, and then, of course, listening to what you guys have to say as well down in the comments. So let's go ahead, take a seat, and we can talk about our final thoughts for Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid Eternal Rangers. Before we start talking about anything at all, keep these points in mind. Number one, most of the things I say on here are my opinion. I mean, I'm going to talk about some numbers and things along that way. You can't fake that. But generally speaking, this is going to be my opinion. This is what I thought of the campaign. This is my personal mindset of, you know, from beginning to end and things along that ways. You know, what I liked, what I didn't like, things along that ways. You may agree, you may disagree. That's fine. That's more than okay. I mean, one of the things that really was rough with this campaign near the end was the division that happened within the community. Guys, we got really crazy with this. And, you know, I get it. It's super passionate. We are very passionate about this. And a lot of us want certain things, and a lot of us really wanted to see certain things pop up, or they weren't understanding why other things happen, things along that ways. And it's just, you know, it boggles the mind sometimes on the certain things that certain individuals say and react and do. It's behind us now. It's all behind us. It's water under the bridge. Let's not worry about it. Anything you guys have to say down in the comment section below, you know, please be nice, please be respectful. But honestly, whatever you want to say, you can say it. It's your opinion, it's your idea, it's your thing. Hot take, I don't like Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Oh no, I said that once and I had somebody come back at me. It was a joke, it's all okay and everything. But that's, we all have our opinions. We all have our thoughts and ideas about like what seasons we like, which ones we don't. And of course, how this campaign, you know, made us feel personally. So if we're going to have this discussion, I want to have this discussion, we have to be civil about it. The second thing you have to really remember is that unless you out there work for Renegade, anything we think that they should have done, it should have been this way, should blah, 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 all speculation, all 100% speculation, because we don't know what goes on behind their closed doors. And doesn't matter how long some of you may have been in the industry for. Look, I worked for WizKids Games for over 5 years. Yes, I was in the industry. I'm still not going to sit here and claim that I know exactly what was going through Renegade's mind, what was going through their, you know, their notes or whatever it is that they want to do, because you just don't know. You really have no idea. These licenses and products can come and go in an instant, depending on production value, sales, you know, bottom line, you know, what. It's very also like if Hasbro wants something or doesn't want something, it's so many different things wrapped together that unless you work for Renegade and you're going to inform us all in the comment sections here or Facebook or whatever about why it is that the company did what they did, anything we say is just whatever comes to our mind, speculation at best, and we won't know. So just really keep that in mind. I'm sure 100% that Renegade did everything in their power in order to give us the finale that they hoped to give us. Something that was a huge send-off and a huge, like, final farewell to this game to make us like, oh, this is great, this is amazing. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to go a yes and a no. They gave us a lot of awesome things that other companies would never give the customer. And I'll talk about those in a minute. But I also don't think that this was as big of a finale as they thought it would be. But let's gather our thoughts. Let's put all ourselves together, sit down and start talking about this. If you guys have anything that you want to say at all at any time during the video, just by all means, not that I can respond to it in real time per se, but just leave me your thoughts, leave me your ideas, leave me your overall opinions and feelings about this campaign, because there's probably still a lot of you out there that need to get some stuff off your chest, and it's been at least 2 or 3 days since it ended for, here, or that I'm doing this video. I needed my time to process, so let's just sit down, talk about, as I mentioned before, the good, the bad, everything in between. All right, so I have some bullet points written down over here that kind of collect my thoughts and everything. Again, they're the good, the bad, and, whatever, the meh. But after I'm done talking about all this, I'm going to give you my 10 things that I would have changed about this campaign to make it better and really give the game the send-off it deserved. But first things first, we have to start off with I'm going to kind of bounce around between all 3 of the different emotions of sorts with this, just so I'm not focusing solely on one and then the other, because I don't really want to influence that way. But first and foremost, we got a lot of stuff for a really good amount of money. A lot of us were going into this, like, I was expecting to drop $300-400 or so on this campaign. I think the highest one from the original campaign was like $275 or something like that, $280 or whatever, like almost $300, give or take. So I was sitting there and like, this is going to be the final send-off. They're going to have a lot of stuff to show us and give us and everything, whatever was in the bag, they're going to put out, and it's going to be great. We're going to have all these things and everything, and I'm ready to go. Didn't turn out to be that way, but that's right. But even still, we got like 21 minis. That's 18 from the core box, plus we unlocked 3 as we went along the stretch goals. 300 plus cards between all your battle cards, your escalation cards, which are awesome, the forever colors, your tarot card size for your Zords, your Megazords, things along that was crazy. So that in its own right is awesome. The Compendium book is a great resource to have, and I am so happy that we're getting that, because it's the end. All the things can smash together into one book. Nice and easy for you to find, just out of if you need it, it's all right there. And then, of course, the creation kit, the how to create your ranger, the notes and the PDFs and stuff from Jonathan and things like that. That is in itself is an amazing thing to get, because just another really solid positive point. No other company does that. Like, really, what other company do you know of that is willing to give the customer that type of information? What it is that they do to put into their games. This is, granted, they're not selling this anymore, but maybe one day they want to revisit the Guardian system or something like that. They could still use all those notes that Jonathan have in order to make other things, maybe generic fantasy Guardian system or any other IP they have. Having the ability to create something like that at our level, at the consumer level, they really need to get credit from all of us for doing something like that. No other company, you'll never see CMON doing that. You'll never see any of the other big board gaming companies put out the work and the details and everything that they did for their games to the consumer in order to make our own thing. So I can't wait to get it. It's going to be awesome because it's never been done before. And I'm so curious on a lot of that behind the scenes stuff. However, in regards to what we got for this campaign, I really don't think it was as much as we should have gotten. And that would be the lack of add-ons. There were no add-ons. There were no add-ons in this at all. And I think that was, I'm going to go to the ends of the earth with this. I think that was a poor move on Renegade. They should have had something like that. You want to build this up. You want to show that, all this money can be put into it and everything. What really was something that kind of grinded my gears a bit near the end was I was very happy that they unlocked all of the stretch goals. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But one of the reasons that they unlocked all the stretch goals for us was because they took some of the money that they used, that, you know, we gave them for the 40% off everything else, and they used that towards a stretch goal. It's like, so we were building up towards those stretch goals behind the scenes without anybody seeing it. And because we kept getting closer and closer, but not quite there, you had fans just losing their collective minds. They were, oh my God, we're never going to make it. We're never going to chill out. You know, we're going to make it. We're like, oh, what are you talking? It was back and forth, when really behind the scenes, Renegade intended to give them to us from the get-go. That's kind of like a weird thing to do because it's so much like discord and negativity within the community. I don't mean to laugh at it, but it's like, wow, that went nowhere near like they thought it was going to go. And I think the lack of add-ons, the lack of being able to give a varied amount of money and get various things from this campaign really set that off, because we went in this really thinking that we were going to get something like a big box, maybe something like the Kickstarter box from the original set, and then like a few extra expansions, maybe some promo cards, re-release promo cards, those promo sets, things along that way. Like, you look at those threads from the past several months, from October to when it launches, everyone's talking about, of course, everyone wants 1,000 different things, but I just don't understand why there were no additional items that we could purchase in addition to it. The biggest one for me personally that they should have put as an optional like add-on regardless is the core box. I saw a lot of people pop in. I've never heard of this game. This is the first time I've heard of this game. Oh, I didn't know this game was around or whatever. They're in the Eternal Rangers campaign, looking to back this game because they think it's cool and they've never seen it before. They can't play it if they just back Eternal Rangers because they don't have the core set fundamentals. They don't have the locations. They don't have the minions. They barely have any like dice or whatever, the gold dice. Yay. Just like, I think that was just something like that blows my mind in terms of like, why was that not part of the campaign? Why couldn't like those things go in? And I get it. Again, we don't know what's going on behind the doors. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes or whatever, but there was nothing to inform us as the consumer as why that was the case. Why couldn't they offer these things? We're done. That's it. Goodbye. Our stock is the end of our stock. Well, now you're putting this out there as a big kabang. You're going to attract more people. You're going to need to have something there. So this way, a good amount of new people to the game have something to play. And look, in the long run, going back to the positivity point, we did get everything that Renegade informed us that we were going to get. I do have some issues with that I will talk about once I do my what I would have changed per se. But the fact that they showed off Zordon, they showed off the Arsenal cards and everything, and they're like, oh, if we hit this, we'll get it. And we were short, but they still gave it to us anyway. All right, good. I was sitting on pins and needles at the very end of that. I'm glad that notice went out like immediately after the campaign ended, where they're like, hey, you get everything anyway, because I was like, I love Renegade. I love Heroes of the Grid. I love a lot of their games. I play their deck building game. I'm playing their solo hero series. I love a lot of Renegade games. I love them so much. If they were to be like, too bad, so sad, and not give us those things at the end, I wanted the Arsenal card so badly. If they weren't giving it to us, then I don't know what I would have done. I would have been so jaded by them at that point that I don't know what I would have done going forward. But so props to them again for giving us those goals, for unlocking them, for giving them to the community, making it part of the campaign. Thank you. It would have been really ugly if that was the case. In addition to that, there are a lot of other great things that they did for us throughout the course of that campaign, specifically 40% off all of their Heroes of the Grid stock, because again, they're trying to get through it and everything. I saw a lot of photos and everything on the Facebook groups and everything of people getting their product of, I finally got this expansion. 40% off. That's a good deal. That's really awesome. Love it. I wish it was for Mission Critical as well, because I would like to start collecting Mission Critical before that's lost to the wind. But, maybe that might be something else that happens down the line, sadly, but probably. And also just another big thing is them delivering it by the end of the year. A lot of people want to get this in hand as soon as possible because you want to play it. You want to see what it's like. I'm kind of on the edge with that. It's a great thing. I love getting it as soon as possible, but I could have waited a few months if there was a few other things added to it. And again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm bashing Renegade, and I know that I'm saying some things like that, but it's like, this was a very important campaign to a lot of us, and there were some expectations that I don't think were really met. I don't think this should have been a campaign at all. I really don't. I'll be 100% honest with you. I think that they should have just made an announcement that due to production or something, or just, even just give us like a generic, due to time and effort, or I don't care what you say. We are ending the Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid line. This is the last thing that we will produce for it. In addition to this, you will get X, Y, and Z. Kickstarter is just like a glorified pre-order system anyway. Like a lot of us know that. That's kind of how it is. And those stretch goals that they had for this campaign did not really do it justice whatsoever. And I just want to go over a few of those first. The STL files, they're meh. They're great. They're awesome. Again, we're going to go into another category right there of what other company do you know does that? What other board game or miniature company or anything like that will give the consumer the STL files that they use to make their minis, this way you can make them at home on your 3D printer? None. None except for Renegade. Props, 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 gold stars all around for Renegade on that. I don't have a 3D printer, so the STL files are meh to me. I could probably go to my local library if they have one, give them that. My buddy, I think, is going to get a 3D printer at one point. I would like to have one at some point. A big thing that people say is that technology is advancing and getting cheaper at the same time. I don't need a state-of-the-art 3D printer. Get a lesser one, as long as I have some way to vent it down here. And then, of course, just use the STL files from there, make them, learn them, things like that. So, will they be useful to me one day? Probably. Are they useful to a lot of you out there? Yes and no. It's kind of why that's a meh thing. Same thing for the gold dice. Do I think we needed gold dice? No, not really. I have plenty of dice already. I mean, sure, what's a few more? But okay, fine. You want to throw some gold dice in, that's okay. Everyone complaining about them having 4 and not being 6. Was it like the orange, purple, and silver? I heavily quote that because I hate those dice. Silver pack, only 3 of each? Like, you're not getting 4, that's 3. I guess you could buy 2 packs and get 6. And I thought that the original set of dice that you got as well were 4 of each color. So I was really confused about when people like, oh, it doesn't match my 6. Do you really have 6 of every color? Like, I don't know why. Something about that doesn't math up to me. I got to relook at my dice or whatever, but it's just weird. But I mean, if you were going to give me other colors, fine. Instead of just gold, make it a few other colors as well. But yeah, dice, all right, cool. Can't say that, but okay, cool. And then that final stretch goal of the Eternal Ranger figure and the STL. The problem is that was ruined so badly for us from the live stream because Jonathan's sitting there literally drawing it as he's doing the live stream, talking about it, talking about cards and things for it. So it's like, oh, super special final goal. It's gonna be the Eternal Ranger. Like, let's be real here. He put work, he put effort, he put time into it. Just like with Zordon, just like with Yale. Don't tell us that we're not getting it when we know for a fact that Renegade has invested time, money, and effort into making them. So I don't really want to use the word disappointed because I'm glad to have it. It's pretty cool. I like what it represents and I like what it means for the community as a stand-in Ranger for anybody that you make. But at the same time, the shocker of it being the final stretch goal was not that at all. And that's kind of how I felt a lot through this campaign. I guess I should also talk about the compendium upgrades for the stretch goals. Listen, I'm going to go over, again, my top 10 things that I would change about this campaign. I, oddly enough, would not change those compendium upgrades because they would kind of be their own separate thing. Like, in this case, for Eternal Rangers, my thoughts for stretch goals would have been more of quality of life, bettering it for anyone playing the game, maybe something a little flashy going forward just because, and then the occasional new thing that you'll see pop in here and there on the stretch goals. I just felt like a lot of the stretch goals in this one were not necessarily, like they didn't need to be stretch goals, specifically the Forever Color stuff. But again, I'll talk about that in a minute. the gold lettering on, I know a lot of you are like, don't mess with my gold lettering. Yes, okay, it's going to look fancy, it's going to look poppy-ish and everything like that, but I'm going to be honest, it's going to sit on this shelf in here in a box for forever, and I'm never going to see it, so it means nothing. And I think that was kind of a really, really silly stretch goal to emphasize. It should have been something that appeared between stretch goals, like randomly, like everyone complained about the G.I. Joe missions added into the compendium as like, oh, that's a wasted stretch goal. No, it wasn't, because they had 2 stretch goals already and they shoved it in the middle of the 2. So it's not really taking up a spot if they never intended to put it in already. They're just like, all right, here's a mid-stretch goal, something we added in because you guys talked about. So it kind of worked itself out that way. Again, another props for Renegade for doing that, really making sure that, yes, these are the Guardian System games. These work together. If you collect G.I. Joe Mission Critical, here's everything in there as well. I need G.I. Joe Mission Critical Renegade. Give me a discount code. I don't care. I need to start grabbing that as well. But yeah, that's it for the compendium upgrades. I love my name being in the book, by the way. I will, again, take that. I'll die on my stump, as that is one of the coolest things ever. I love my name being immortalized and stuff like this. I love it. That's great. And many of you may not care. I like it. But anyway, the TLDW didn't watch of this whole thing is that there were things I liked, there were things I didn't like, but overall I was very satisfied and happy with the end of the campaign. The fact that we got everything that we were showed and everything that we were presented with, we did end up getting. We have a lot of stuff to look forward to in the future for our own personal creations. You know, whatever you make, whatever I make, whatever we see here. It's just, I wish that things were done differently. I wish things were done a little bit, I don't know, just new stuff, newer stuff, more stuff, things that would complete teams, that would really like put a big power bow on this game and have this huge send-off for it. So with that, I'm going to let you know what I would have done. Again, I don't work for Renegade. I don't know anything behind the scenes, but in my mind, in my perfect world, and the ideas that I would have for this Kickstarter, this is what I would have done. Okay, so first and foremost, leading up to the actual release of the campaign, they started showing off previews. What they should have done is only show off what was in the box. I think that because they showed off Zordon and Yale that early, that was a bad mistake. I think that was a really, really poor mistake on their part, because you are now showing off characters that you need to use to build hype for your campaign while it's going forward. This was a 30-day campaign, everyone. That is a long time to keep anybody interested. And I'm going to be honest with you, there was silence. There was nothing. It was so boring and so like, I completely forgot that it was going on for about two and a half weeks of this campaign. That should not happen for something like this that's supposed to be this massive blowout and everything. You should have daily updates. That's coming down. That's later on. That's later on. Right now, it's pre going into the campaign. Show off only what's in there. And they started to do that. We had red Mystic Force. We had yellow Mystic Force come out. You should have kept going with that. They showed blue, but not all of her cards, which was weird. Like, you already becoming inconsistent right there. We never saw green. We never saw Zenith. We didn't even see the monsters until like way later in the campaign itself, which does help, but it was a little too late, whatever. It was too late at that point. So prior to 2 weeks before this thing going up, you should start showing off things going forward. You know, like, you know, do all 5 of the Mystic Rangers. That's plenty of updates right there to get you hyped up. And then, you know, when the campaign begins, start maybe doing update, the first up, every update. I'm just going to run right forward now. The number 2, every update for this game, there were daily updates already. Every update for this game should have shown off cards. Should have. There should have been something in each one of those daily updates that showed off powers, abilities, Zords, doesn't matter, enemies, monsters. The fact that we got nothing for multiple days was like, okay, cool. What next? And listen, those first 48, 72 hours of the campaign flying through the stretch goals. Of course we were, because we're all anticipating it. We want all the stuff, but then we don't get anything else afterwards. We get nothing. We get nothing afterwards. And it's like, all right, now this is cool. Now what? Like, that's what blows my mind, is that a lot of the big stuff, the big important things that would push the Kickstarter forward, keeping the hype up, were showed off before it even happened. And then once you get into the campaign, that's when you can start showing off the cards for the characters that you reveal. Yale was the 7th stretch goal unlocked. And like at that point, when Yale is not only on the screen, that day's update, you could easily just kind of swap in and out the pictures, copy paste paragraphs and everything onto your updates. That should have been when you revealed Yale and Yale's cards, when he was actually shown on the stretch goals, because we know what's in the box. Oh, we're excited for, the Turbo Blue. We're excited. I guess we're excited for Turbo Blue. We're excited for the Mystic Force Ranger. We're excited for Ninjetti Adam. What? Yale is in this? Oh, blowing the mind. Which, yes, we did collectively, because I read all those threads and I was one too, did that before the campaign started. So now we have stretch goals going on and we know Yale is in there somewhere. It's not a shock. It's not a surprise. It's not any hype. It's where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Same thing for Zordon. Once Zordon was revealed at the $300,000 mark, that's when things should have been shown off. Show off the cards, show off his powers and abilities and everything. Don't do it prior to it, because now you have people so mad that he's not there, and then he gets there and everyone's like, oh man, we're not gonna make it, because no one's excited anymore. No one's like anticipating this. You figure that there was a lot of $1 pledges. I'm sure there's still a lot of $1 pledges out there. No one bothered to boost it up because they didn't have anything to be excited for. They're like, oh man, I want Zordon. All right, I'll put in the rest of my money. I'll put in this, I'll put in that. That didn't happen because we already knew, and we were just now mad at the fact that we had to wait so long for Zordon to even show up on the stretch goal, that he was all the way at the end as well. It wasn't even the final stretch goal. Kind of, sort of. It was just, oh my God. And I don't mean to be so crazy about this, but it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Somebody out there can let me know the mindset behind it all, and clarify it and really explain it to me. Please put it down in the comment section below for all of us. Again, be nice, be cordial, be respectful for it. We all are here. This is all a learning process for us all as well. Doesn't really matter. It's all done and over with, but I'd still love to know. Next point would be add-ons. This needed add-ons. You didn't have to take the CMON approach and give you an add-on every week of the campaign, pushing it forward like that. I don't know. I feel like for us, it would be pretty cool. I think that would really help out a lot and like get back in there and do things. But it needed add-ons. Every other campaign had them. Your other ones had possible add-ons and things you can possibly do and everything like that. It needed, I mentioned in my, of course I backed video, 3 different expansions for this. Jungle Storm with the 6 Rangers in it, Ally Pack 5, which those 2 packs alone, I know I'm getting really emotional about this, but this is just, again, it doesn't make any sense to me. I apologize out there. It's my enthusiasm, my love for this thing. Those 2 packs alone would have completed a lot of sets and made a lot of people happy and satisfied and like, good, perfect, love it, man, bring it on, I'll do the rest myself. But then you should have also had a Minions pack, Merciless Minions 3. Don't give us multiple Minions. Maybe the Piranhatrons. You want to do one? I know. I watched the live stream. I know that Minions are tough. I know that Minions were not a fun thing for Jonathan to do in Renegade because of the molding and multiple things like that. I get it. I do. But again, you want a final blowout for this game. You want something to be big. You should have did at least one set of Minions. Do the Piranhatrons, do the Hedgemen. I mentioned both of those. Do just one. Do one. And the rest of the Merciless Minions box should have been a stack of cards to replace other minions. Give me the Piranhatrons as figures. Give me the Henchmen as just a stack of cards. You know what else you could do in Merciless Minions number 3? Universal deployment. That's what it should have been. You should have had a Power Rangers version of the universal deployment system, because it was mentioned in the live stream that Jonathan knew that fans liked that better than what it was that was made into Heroes of the Grid. Not everyone did. And if you don't, that's fine. I know a lot of people don't like it. That's okay too. Again, opinions. It's fine. It's all good. I get it. I'm more than fine with it. You can let me know down in the comment section below. I think that's what it should have been. It should have been Merciless Minions number 3. Give us 1 brand new minion, 4 maybe replacements of other minions, and then a universal deployment deck for Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. You give me those add-ons, 1, 2, 3 right there, that would have skyrocketed that final goal by far. Playing off the add-ons, and I'm making this a separate point because I really think this should have been a thing regardless of them not doing any add-ons for figures. Number 1, an add-on should have been the core set, because you have new people in there buying the game. They need something to play. You need the core set in order to play. Should have been there as a stretch goal regardless of anything. They should have allocated whatever they have left in their stock, pushed some of the core sets to the side for this campaign, did like a special dollar amount for it. It's like what, $100 or something like that, or 100 or $80, cut it in half. Like if you don't have the core set, at least you buy it half off for this Kickstarter, so you have something to play if like you're a new customer or something. I don't know how they would do that, but whatever. I think that should have been there. Second thing, and this is going to be a hot take, so I apologize, you guys. I don't think the Forever Color set should have been part of the stretch goals. I think they could have been an add-on. Green, yellow, which is a really weird order in which they put them out, by the way. Green, yellow, black, and pink. Shouldn't have been released in that order. I think it should have been switched around, but I mentioned that before. You could take all 4 of those, make an add-on for $40. Boom. There you go. Do you want the Forever set? There you go. Right there. Then one of the great things that Renegade did here was that they managed to get in and get a reprint for their Forever Blue and their Forever Reds. Make that part of it as well. I guess it kind of was already because of the 40% off and people went in and did the pre-orders for it and everything. But that should have been part of it as well. Maybe not red and blue because they're our own separate thing, but I don't know. I just feel like the Forever Color should have been an add-on. That would have been a huge thing to help boost up the numbers and give more stretch goals. Stretch goals should have, again, just been fun things to have for the end of the campaign. And actually, my next 2 points involved the stretch goals. For one, I would not have changed the book upgrades at all. I mean, a lot of people may not have agreed with a lot of the things that were in there. A lot of them people may not have been like, that's not great or anything along that ways. I don't like this, I don't like that. But you know what you probably could have done? You could have added an add-on for that, $20 or whatever. Jonathan signs the book, $30 or whatever like that, you know, and just, sign the book. Sign the book. I would have paid. I would have been like, here's $30 extra for the whole thing. Jonathan signed my book. That would have been awesome. You know, you don't have to put a name or anything on it. Just have him sign the book, a validation number on the bottom. Boom, there it is, done and ready to go. That goes, he didn't have to put them in each one. He just, you know, 1,000 of these are limited. Just sign all the books, put them in there, done and done. I think that would have been awesome as well. Again, it doesn't have anything to do with gameplay. It's just a fun thing to have as a stretch goal going forward because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a great ending like that. Next point, other stretch goals I would have had because in my brain, I would have taken out all of the Forever Colors, so those are no longer there. What else do we have? Yes, we have character upgrade cards, which were really cool to get. You know, the, what was it? The, not the Omega Rangers, the Solar Rangers or, oh my God, why can't I remember? Yes, it was the Solar Rangers. Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking of something else. But yeah, all the Solar Rangers and, you know, the April Fool's style crazy power cards or whatever. You know, those are great. You know what else you could have had for add-on stretch goals? Zord pack, a new Zord pack. What could we put in the Zord packs? Wild Force Zords. You may not have Wild Force as characters, but you could have made a Zord pack of like the core 5 and then the Animus ones and then the what is it? The Gorilla Zord or the Conga Zord or whatever with the Polar Bear, the Black Bear and the Gorilla. Like that would have been awesome if you made a Wild Force pack to have extra cards going out that way. What else do I have? I have a list right here. The Arsenal cards, which we got. Thank you for the Arsenal cards, which was awesome. The Escalation set. The Escalation set was so cool. That was awesome. I am super hyped to play with the Escalation set. That was an amazing thing that was added on. That is something. That is your bar for what type of excitement we should be expecting for, we should have expected for this final campaign. Something brand new, something different, something mechanically sound to add or not add to the game to be like, that is awesome. Wow, I can make the hard game even harder. Perfect. I love the escalation system, and I can't wait to try that out. So I mentioned the arsenal cards, of course. New monster upgrades, and you wouldn't even need to do anything. Give me, I don't know, give me your core monsters, Bones, Madame Woe, Pudgy Pig, all them. Don't give me a new combat deck, just give me a new monster card as a nemesis. Give them each some crazy random ability, make them a nemesis card, and sell that pack as a stretch goal. You know, nemesis upgrades for your core set, or for some, it has to be done for the core set, because if I'm mentioning selling the core set already, then why not? You know, make a Nasty Knight as a nemesis would be wild. More card dividers for the box to store cards, which that should be an upgrade as well, or an add-on. You know, I don't know how many of those Renegade would have extra, but you should have had the card boxes as add-ons as well. You didn't need to do everything. You had your 40% off to get all that other stuff. The core set and now the card boxes, because I think they were really useful. Should have been add-ons on the Kickstarter page for brand new people, because you have to cater to them just as much as all of us returning fans. So those are just some of the ideas that I would have had for stretch goals in addition to whatever we got, should I had removed the Forever Pack. What would you have added as a stretch goal? What realistically could you have seen been put in there to be a cool thing to just have? Not a super upgrade, not a major thing that changes the game or anything like that, though the escalation again are awesome. I would have always loved to see upgraded tokens or something like that, you know, just anything like that. Let me know what your thoughts. This next point takes into the account that obviously we didn't get the add-ons. So just put that out of your mind. You know, yes, I'm making a list of my perfect campaign and everything, but ideally get that out of your mind. Let's not worry about the add-ons that I mentioned, all those extra fixtures, whatever. Look at what we have as a whole for the campaign. The only other character I would have added or requested that should have been as part of the stretch goals or something along that ways is Amelia, the Cosmic Fury Red Ranger. And I know I mentioned that, you know, way back in my other video about this, but I mean, it's like she should have been there because she was hyped up quite a bit. A lot of people were expecting it. I just think it would make more sense. I think it would have made perfect sense to have her there, because the very last stretch goal of the very first campaign was Lauren as the Red Samurai Ranger. Like, that's a great bookend from one to the end. Like, someone mentioned it, I'm like, that is perfect. Why was that not decided? Because she ended it there. You didn't even have to be Amelia as the last one. You have the Eternal Ranger at the bottom. Fine. So that's your end. That's your end. Okay. Now it's up to you to be a Ranger. But right before her, it should have been Amelia. And I'm telling you right now, if all the add-ons were there, if all these extra additions were there, if Zordon and Yale were actually shown off during the campaign and not prior to it, making all this hype drop to nothing in the middle of it, we could have probably pushed out maybe another 100,000, funding for it, if not more, and would have seen that there. I really think Amelia should have been a character in this game at the very end of it as an additional stretch goal. I just need, really, even without all the add-ons, she would have been perfect. That would have been great, but we know what we got. And lastly, it really just has to do with the lack of information and updates that we got during the course of the campaign. Yes, we did get daily updates, but they didn't really do anything. Like, most of the daily updates, at least from when I went back and looked, didn't really give us more information about what's to come, what to expect, how to make this better or whatever. Like, and we didn't even know that add-ons were not going to be a thing for quite a while. They might have mentioned it in like the frequently asked questions, but it wasn't, I don't know, there was a lot of interpretation that I saw on it. It's like, there's no add-ons for your additional stuff, but there might be some for the I don't know, I feel like that, I still 100% disagree that having no add-ons was silly. But that should have been something from day one. That should have been in the very first update. Here's what it is. We're trying to unlock this. There will be no additional add-ons, no additional things that you could purchase in order to build up the fundings for this, except for the 40% off, which that, oh God, that grinds my gears so much, knowing that they used that money to build up the stretch goals to unlock it. Because they said it in the last update. It was said in the last update that they use that in order to unlock the final bits to give it to us. Oh, you guys did so great. why didn't you tell us from the get-go? Why didn't you tell us that that was something that we could use in order to unlock it? I know you wanted the actual money to go up, but it wasn't, because no one was there doing it. It was such a slow grind, and people were losing their minds, as I've said a bunch of times on this already. So, oh my gosh, yeah, I just wish there was just a little bit more information out there in order for people to see it, to understand it, and to get behind it. So this way we're not sitting here at the very end, biting our fingernails like, oh my God, we are 500 away from getting this, and now we're not going to get it, and I am sad. I think I'm at 10. This is the 10th point that I'm trying to make on this. I kind of lose track as I go on my ranting and raving. 10th is whatever. 10th is whatever you guys have to think about, or what, and everything like that. But again, I hate the sound the way I do about this, because again, I love Renegade. I've mentioned it several times already. I play their games. I love their games. I will continue to play their games. I will continue to support them. I will continue to make Power Rangers Heroes of Grid content on this channel. That is going to continue to happen. I got lots of things to cover. I've got lots of games that I want to play. I have lots of things that I want to talk about. There's a lot of, once Eternal Ranger gets into my hand, all of the Forever Colors I want to go over, the new Arsenal cards I want to go over, and what makes me sad about it is that I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to show it on the video. No one's going to be able to get it because it's not in production anymore. And that I think is what makes me most sad about it all. And that's, again, not Renegade's fault by any means, by any stretch of the word, because whatever they decided to do within their company with this line is what they decided to do. I can't do anything about it. It is what it is. I just think this game is awesome, and more people should be aware of it and play it and just see all the different options and things. Yeah, you can get analysis paralysis and huge amount of FOMO with this game because of the amount that's out of it. It's been around for a long time, and that is such a great stamp of approval for the game. But it just makes me sad to see that anything I talk about isn't going to really matter in the future, because no one's going to be able to get this. You may see me do these new Arsenal cards. You're not going to be able to get them if you didn't back this campaign, which, by the way, if you're watching this now and you did not back this campaign and you're looking at it, keep an eye on it, go on the Kickstarter, find it, save it, and whatever. They are going to, I believe they said, okay, it's not so much that they're going to have the product available, but they're going to have a digital version of the compendium, and Jonathan's journal will be available to purchase from the web store. Fans who find this game later or who might have missed the campaign can enjoy the game alongside the community. Okay, so at least that's something. You may not be able to buy all of the things, but at the same time, you can make it on your own. And then, hey, you watch my videos of me showing these off and everything, and you see a character that you want for your game. I have the cards up on the side. They may still be on Renegade website, so you can download them and just slap them right onto it. Make them for yourself. You'll know exactly the wording, exactly, the stats on all of them that way. So again, regardless of anything, me being able to continue to show these characters, to talk about them, to express how awesome they are in the game, what they do and things like that, is going to be worth it for the future, especially for those that are brand new for the game. So with that in mind, everybody, I don't know how long I've been talking about this, but I'm going to wrap it up right now because this has been insane. Thank you all for joining me as I give you my final thoughts for Power Rangers Eternal Rangers. I know I was asked a few times about what I thought about it in the long run, and again, making this video just seemed to be the appropriate thing to do because I got to put my own little bookend on it as well, just to show you what it is that I thought about the end and everything, and what I plan on doing for the future, which again, as I mentioned, still a lot more to come. May not be as much as it was in the past, but there's a ton of things that I can still do and look forward to. Got my Arsenal cards. That was my big thing. I know asking for the Arsenal cards was that Time Jet, I think, will be in every game regardless of anything, because it's an awesome card, and I can't wait to see the rest of them and everything. So with that said, let me know, and I've asked you a few times already, but I'll do it one more time. Call to action. What is your final thoughts for Power Rangers Eternal Rangers? What do you think about that? What do you think of how Renegade handled the campaign? What their positives, their negatives, the things in between and everything, because, it's not a perfect campaign. It was not a perfect campaign, But it wasn't really a failure either. Let's just put that out there right now. It is not a failure. This was a huge, huge success regardless of anything. We got some awesome characters. We got some new things to add to the game. We got one final big thing to push out. I hope that the Eternal Rangers box is the size of a Kickstarter box, not the original like core box. I want to be the Kickstarter size so I can put some stuff in that and like get rid of some of the brown boxes I have up there that I'm storing the stuff in. And just have just a really cool new set in order to hold on to check out, to add to my games, to play through and everything. You know, and then creating our Rangers. Creating our Rangers is in its own right going to be a fantastic journey for each and every one of us. If you haven't already joined, if you're part of Facebook, if you're on Facebook, and you haven't joined the Power Ranger custom group, I'm going to put that on the screen right now. Go ahead and do that. This is going to be a huge community of Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid card creators. They've already done a ton of stuff in the past for everyone, but now once we get the actual creation kit, they'll have a layout, they'll have a template, they'll have better ways of putting things together in order to create more game accurate cards for all of us to enjoy. I don't know how they said something about distributing it out to people, like printing them out and giving them out to people where you just have to pay shipping or something. I don't know. Well, keep an eye on that, watch them or whatever. I keep an eye on it all the time. I'm very excited to see that. One day I would love to share your creations as well. See, another thing that I can do with this, another positive that comes from it is that we can share everything we have created in the future with the rest of the community and create our own stuff. I actually plan on making a brand new Guardian System game based around Avatar: The Last Airbender, as I'm a huge fan of that series, and I think it would fit very well within the Guardian System. Maybe like one thing or whatever. You get a few foot soldiers here and there, but a lot of heroes and everything. So that's what I plan on doing. That was my big thing. I can't wait to see what all of you have as well. With that said and done, guys, thank you so much again for joining me on this. I look forward to all the future that we have together with Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid or any other thing that happens to come out that we all enjoy. Got a lot of stuff planned beyond Power Rangers going forward. So in order not to miss that or any other thing, just the things of the things of the things, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad if you aren't already. And there's a ton of other ways to support the channel down in the comment section below. Guys, just thank you so much for being part of this and everything. And also a huge thank you, regardless of anything that I said, to Renegade. Guys, you went above and beyond thinking about the fans, understanding the fans, and listening to them and everything. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that I think should have been done differently and changed around and like really made this the final big bang that it should have been. But a lot of the things that you did do, the STL files, the Compendium book, you know, the Jonathan's notes and all those templates and everything, companies don't do that. Companies do not, and it puts Renegade at a higher tier of company, being able to distribute that to their customers, to their fan base and everything, showing that we trust you to make this stuff, knowing that you're going to be able to do the honor and really bring this to the future it deserves, even though we cannot. So thank you so much to Renegade for everything you guys have done, and I can't wait to see what else you guys put out in the future. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together. Safe to come out now. No more arguing, no more yelling, no more getting under each other's skin about random things and things like that. We can now finally put all of our differences aside, come back together as one unified, amazing community, and look towards the future about all the awesome things we will create. Till then, you guys have a good one, and I will catch you all later. May the power protect you.